to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are streaming on all social media platforms at Keys to the City. So subscribe, comment, share, and like. Also, today is Cinco de Mayo, a.k.a. Cinco de Drinko. So everybody be safe, have a good time, and enjoy, though. Also, a shout-out to two of our favorites, Frankie DeStefano and our cousin Michael. Happy birthday, boys. We love you. Well, I love and miss you. I hope you guys have a terrific day. But since our schedules have been so hectic recently, I know that the NFL draft concluded on Saturday, and we really didn't get into any of the drafts. We didn't really talk about the Giants pick. We didn't really get to talk about any of the draft because of our schedules. And
we talked about the first round.
We talked about the first round on Friday. We talked first round on Friday with me, you, and Joe, but we haven't really got into the full draft. We'll talk about Aaron Rodgers and that Packers debacle that's going on in Green Bay right now. And then we'll finish off with Giancarlo Stanton. Is he the key to the Yankees' success right now? So we'll talk about all that in a few. But let's start off, like I said, the NFL draft. It was a hell of a weekend. It was awesome. It was great to see fans. All in all, it was a huge success in Cleveland. Cleveland, job well done. But let's talk about it. Winners and losers currently. So you look at the winners of this draft. Then you look at the losers. There's always, I know that everybody wants to say, oh, well, it's too early to tell. Well, I saw some winners and I saw some losers. Ted, if you want to start, I'll let you go off of who you think. You give me maybe two teams.
Yeah.
If you give me winners, and then we'll get to the losers, and we'll get on to Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
Well, I think we're both in agreement on one team, but I won't get to that team. So I'll start with the team that we talked about on Friday. It was Carolina. Now, we won't know how Jace Horn turns out. We know they need a corner. There was talk about Gilmore in a trade for New England. If New England wanted to come up and get the quarterback, would Stephon Gilmore be the thing? If Jace Horn turns into an all-pro cornerback, solid pick. But I look at, hey, listen, I got a solid running back in Saquon Barkley. I got a pretty good offense, but I don't really have a solid left tackle. And based on some reports I read, a lot of people think Penei Sewell might be, other than Kyle Pitts, one of the elite players in this draft when you look back 5 to 10 years ago. We also talked about before that linemen have a really high success rate on their second contract after their rookie contract with their original teams. So I look at a team like Carolina. What did the Jets not do for Sam Darnold? Give him weapons and protect him. Well, I understand Jace Horn was a need, but I would have took Penei Sewell, or I would have traded up. I would have done something to get off, or I would have took Rashawn Slater. I look at Carolina, but my real team that I looked at is Pittsburgh. Now I understand the pick with Najee Harris at 23, but I look at a team that lost 3 offensive linemen. Marquise Pouncey retired. Villanueva just signed a 2-year deal with the Baltimore Ravens, and Marcus Gilbert also retired too. They're right tackle. You lose 2 tackles, you lose your all-pro center. I look at a team that couldn't run the ball last year. And then by the end of the season, couldn't protect Big Ben. So I'll use Dan Orlowski's quote from what he said on ESPN the other day. Bad offensive line, great running back, doesn't work well. Great offensive line, average running back becomes great running back. We've learned this before. You don't have no O-line. I don't care who your running back is. You're not going to be successful. We talked about it with the Giants. Saquon Barkley, as talented as he is, when the Giants could not protect and give him running lanes the past 2 years, like the Chicago game, getting hit 2-3 yards in the backfield before he even gets an opportunity to get his speed burst and get through the hole is very disappointing. And if you can't protect your quarterback and you can't run the ball, you're not going to be successful in the NFL. And we've seen that. And it starts with the offensive line. So for Pittsburgh not to be able to take an offensive tackle there at 23, maybe there wasn't a guy that they liked. Trade back then. Get more picks. And not being able also to, on that pick, and I love Najee Harris. I really do. Think he could be a stud.
Yeah, same here.
But also for Pittsburgh not to be able to find a quarterback of the future, to have him learn for Big Ben for the future. Another missed opportunity, I think, for Pittsburgh. And I think they're going to fall hard in the next year or two, because when they don't win the Super Bowl this year, I don't know what they're going to be next year, because they're going to have a very talented defense with TJ Watt and Fitzpatrick and all these other guys. But guess what? It's going to be a missed opportunity. And I feel bad for Steelers fans because you're going to fall into what our Giant fans fell into the last 3 years, where we were holding on for Eli and we were trying to get weapons for him when really we should have let his rear end go. And I love Eli, and we should have been building and thinking for the future. So missed opportunity.
And I'm so glad you brought that up because I will, and that's why I said the Pittsburgh Steelers, because you look at their first two picks. Najee Harris, I think he's going to be a stud. I think he's going to be one of the best players in this draft. But first, you got to get the offensive line. Then you take the tight end from Penn State, Pat Freiermuth, and I look at that. I look at those two picks, and I think this is the New York Giants a couple of years ago. Ted, you just said it. This is the New York Giants a couple of years ago. Thinking that Big Ben still has another chance of making another deep Super Bowl run. We saw this team for what they really were. Yeah, they started 11-0. They were high. Everybody thought they were the best team. I thought they were going to go run the table and they were going to win the Super Bowl. I fell into that boat. But you look at how they finished and the way they finished. It wasn't like they finished like with hope. I mean, they got their asses kicked by their division rivals on Sunday Night Football in the wild card game. Literally. It was 28-0 just right off the bat. First play of the game. Now you decide this is a team that just is their offensive line. I don't know who they're going to put out on their offensive line. Unless they're picking up pieces in free agency now, I don't know who the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be taking in free agency with offensive line. You get all these weapons. Yeah, Najee Harris probably may be the best back in this draft. And then you get the tight end. Yeah, that's great. But as we've seen before and plenty of times, you need to have some sort of offensive line. And your offensive line was non-existent at times last year as it was with the veterans you had. They couldn't run the football. They couldn't throw. They looked anemic at times offensively. So that you decide to go offense, but you go the wrong position. And the value that you could have gotten a running back later in the rounds if you wanted to, a Javonte Williams if you wanted to, if they were there. You had players there still. But to go get Najee Harris, who I really like and I think is going to be a stud, for them to go tight end too, back-to-back, kind of just reminds me of like the Green Bay Packers last year. Going quarterback and then going running back, you're like, what the hell are these teams? What is this team doing?
Well, and here's the other thing. When I look at the Browns right now, I look at the Browns and the Ravens as front and center 1 and 2 in that division. Okay,
yeah.
That's right now, that's how I look at it. I think the Browns are going to be stacked. A lot of pressure on Baker Mayfield. A lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But their team is stacked. They're going to get the guys back from last year that got hurt. They had great pickups in the offseason. Their offensive line is there. They still have Odell's going to come back. They're going to have Landry. They're going to have Hooper. They're going to have David Njoku. They're going to have they're going to have their solid offensive line. They're going to have their 2 running backs. They got Clowney to help out on third down pass rushing ability.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted Newsome the second out of Northwestern. They got John Johnson, the safety. They got Grant Dupree from LSU. Denzel Ward. They got the kid Notre Dame Wusu.
The only reason why he fell is that I guess he had late into the process that he had some kind of heart issues and teams backed away from that. But that kid was a first-round talent. And for him to fall at 52, I believe, was the pick. That's a steal. When you add to the defense, offensively, they don't really need a lot of help. They got their running backs. They got receivers. They have a solid offensive line. It just comes down to Baker. If Baker could pan out and be the guy that they hope to get, then that's a Super Bowl team right there. It was all on the defense. You go pick up John Johnson in the offseason. You go pick up Jadeveon Clowney. You pick up Koromora from the second-round pick. And then you add to your secondary with Greg Newsome. The Browns, I mean, damn, for a team that was picking later in the first round, you look at the Browns where they're going and you look at the Steelers. You would have never thought that with the Browns. The Browns are a big winner for me just because of who they picked and how they needed help defensively. And that's what they went after. And they got a solid corner in Greg Newsome second from Northwestern. You could add that with Denzel Ward. And then you had into the secondary who was depleted last year that needed help. You're adding Grant DePilt back. You're adding Odell Beckham Jr. back. And then you add a linebacker like Owusu Koromora, who is going to be a stud, who is all over the field as an athlete. You're just sitting there like as a Cleveland fan, you got to be excited, ecstatic. But then you're looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're like, we just got our rear ends kicked. Our offensive line is gone. And you decide to go get a running back like Najee Harris who could be really good, but who knows if he's going to flourish now with that depleted offensive line. And then they go get the tight end. Also, one more team that I think is a big winner. I think the New York Jets are huge winners. You go get your quarterback that you've been wanting for the whole time, Zach Wilson. I know Trevor Lawrence was always the main prize, but you go get Zach Wilson, who's going to be, with the weapons that they got now, you get Elijah Moore in the second round, who should have been a first-round pick. That's a heck of a pick. And then you go trade up because you got a million picks. You go get Elijah Vera Tucker to build to that line and add the protection and team him up with Mekhi Becton. I mean, the Jets, you never hear that from me, but the New York Jets, huge winners from this draft. So if I had to go, I go with the Jets and Browns as winners, and then I go with the Steelers, and I go with the Packers again, because the Packers, once again, dealing with their quarterback situation, still didn't want to go address. Yeah, they needed some secondary help, but you got a guy that's been wanting weapons, and you still didn't go give those. So those are my winners and losers.
Well, I also have to add to that is the Los Angeles Chargers. Okay, you got a stud last year in Justin Herbert. You got Rashawn Slater, which some people had as the best offensive lineman in this draft. Some people had second, but he's versatile. Can play offensive guard, can play offensive tackle. So he fills the role. Don't forget, you also signed Corey Winsley, the center out of Green Bay, who was the best center last year. So they built on this offensive line. So you helped Justin Herbert there. Then in the second round, who could have been a first-round pick, and Trev, you had him in the first round, was Asante Samuel Jr. Can play press man, can play zone man. You listen, if you know anything about his father, he was a really talented cornerback for the Philadelphia Eagles and the New England Patriots. So you pick up a cornerback right there it could be a day one starter right there at number 47. Then in the third round, you pick up Josh Palmer. Now, listen, this kid is talented, but you would never know that based on the stats at Tennessee because they had no quarterback. Tennessee, I could have played quarterback for Tennessee. That's how bad they were. I think he'll be a stud there. And listen, we've seen – you find these receivers third or fourth round. They had no quarterbacks. Now you play with a guy like Justin Herbert. It could be a stud. Then you're going to get a tight end with Trey McKitty out of Georgia. They get another versatile linebacker with Chris Rump. I mean, listen, you got to like what the Chargers have done building around Justin Herbert. Listen, this is a team that – listen, they understand that the Chiefs are talented. The Chiefs are loaded again. Their offensive line will probably be better than it was last year, which is amazing. So you're going to have to compete with the Chiefs. Oakland – I mean, I don't know. I say Oakland, they're going to be. But here's the thing. You don't know what's going to happen in Denver. Okay, you think Denver should be better. They're going to get Bradley Chubb back. And if they get Aaron Rodgers, now you're talking about a division that you're going to be competing against Mahomes and Rodgers. So you need all the help you can get.
Oh, I agree with you. That's another team that, Rashawn Slater, being there and not having to move and still getting an offensive line.
Quick question, though.
Great job by the Chargers.
The Giants didn't do anything with the offensive line. We never talked about it.
I was a bit surprised, to say the least. Definitely a bit surprised, but I love what they did with their first three picks. I love that they got an athlete like Toney. I think I'm very excited to see Kadarius Toney. I think that kid's going to be a star for us, and in the fact because he could play anywhere. You could put him offensively. You could put him in the return game. He can do it all, and the Giants can really open up this playbook. It just comes down to Jason Garrett if he wants to get that creative. And then then you get a guy in Easy Aluja at the first round talent to fall to you, trade back on top of it, and you still get your guy that you wanted. Dave Gettleman and Aaron Robinson. Another solid corner for Central Florida. Add to that secondary. I was a bit surprised that there was no O-line. Maybe they go something like a Trey Turner in free agency. But Dave Gettleman, he's got a hell of a job overall. He's done a hell of a job for the Giants, adding more draft capital for next year and a stacked draft. If you're a Giant fan, you got to be excited for the future. Plain and simple. You have to be excited. If you're not, then shame on you because you're not seeing the same thing that all of us are seeing. Teams that looking like they could be struggling for the future and better start figuring out is the debacle that's happening right now in Green Bay. Now, we just talked about the Green Bay Packers. I consider them, again, a loser because not in the sense of the NFL draft. They are a loser for me because – I just don't – you see this situation brewing for years now, especially last year with the Jordan Love pick, not knowing about it, kind of being blackballed just kind of out of nowhere, just a knockout punch and just like, wow, I didn't expect this to happen. What do they do this year? Go at some receivers? No, they go get a cornerback. They just don't want to help their quarterback out. They were interested in trying to get Kadarius Toney. I saw Jacksonville as well. If they were there, if he was there at 25,
Meyer said he would take him at the 25th pick, and I think he was going to use him the same way he's going to use ETN. But it's going to be like an Alvin Kamara thing with them in Jacksonville. But Trev, you said about Aaron Rodgers, I'm like, no way. But
you guys thought I was you and Joe thought I was on crack. You guys thought it was crazy because I even mentioned Aaron Rodgers being not on the team next year, and now we're at the point that. Could be minutes, could be hours, could be days, could be any time.
It's going to be
Aaron Rodgers looks like. Is there any chance of this relationship ever coming not fully back to life? but kind of no, it's not. It's not fully repaired. It's
Jeff,
done.
have you heard Brett Favre on the podcast today or yesterday? So Brett Favre was on the podcast. They asked him about Aaron Rodgers. He goes, I guess he texted Aaron Rodgers, and pretty much Brett Favre goes, from what I know about Aaron Rodgers and the Packers situation, he's not going back. He's not going back. Once Aaron Rodgers makes his decision, he's one of those guys that digs his heels in and doesn't budge and won't budge. Kind of reminds me a little bit on certain things, but
I was like me at times.
But I mean, he said there's no way he will sit out the season before he goes back to Green Bay. That was the words from Brett Favre. So I mean, Brett Favre's got to know something. People know something. If I'm Green Bay, though, this is crazy to think about. I call the GM in the office and go, "You're fired." That's what it comes down to. He doesn't want the GM there. Now, I know that's a bad precedent saying.
Well, did you see that he's been group chat and he's kind of been like calling him Jerry Krause?
Well, listen, Jerry Krause had the thing with Jordan. Remember?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Have you seen? Have you heard that?
Phil, and Jordan said, if Phil's not there, I'm not playing. So Jordan retired. It's a similar situation. Hey, listen. Green Bay has two choices, which we all know. You either fire their GM and let Aaron Rodgers run the show for a year and find another GM, or you say, you know what? Hell with it. And I build toward the future. And if you think Jordan Love is the guy for the future, this is why you drafted him, then you let him run the show.
Mm-hmm.
And you trade Aaron Rodgers and you get a boatload for him. Because I don't know if I sent it to you. I know you haven't looked. Bill Barnwell came up with 7 teams that could be traded for. I liked all 7 of them. He had the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans would have given up Ryan Tannehill and the next 2 first-round picks. And Tennessee would get Aaron Rodgers. If I'm Tennessee, let's do it now. I like Ryan Tannehill, but he is not Aaron Rodgers. And when I got Derrick Henry in the backfield, the best running back and the most physical guy in football, with that running game, with A.J. Brown and the weapons, listen, and I mean, their defense is not as solid, but the AFC South is not that strong. You're first place team. You win the division easily.
Right, let's be real. Anybody that one of those teams that trade for Aaron Rodgers will be instantly into a Super Bowl contender. That's what Aaron. Like if New York,
is Denver the best team in the West if Rodgers goes there?
I mean, they got a good defense.
Better than the Chiefs?
Hold on, they got a good defense. They just had Patrick Surtain to a very solid.
Patrick Surtain goes. They're giving up the next 3 first-round picks, Andrew Luck and Patrick Surtain to Denver, to Green Bay. That's exactly what's going to happen. It'd be 5 players, 3 first-round picks. Next
if I'm Denver, I'm doing it because who's your quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock? You tell me what you want to do. You want to survive in the AFC West with those 2? Be my guest. You'll be picking in the top 3 next year for a quarterback. Plain and simple. You got a guy that wants out. You have Aaron Rodgers, who has been one of the best quarterbacks of our time, saying he wants out. He's literally come out and said, I'm done. I'm not going back to Green Bay. That's it. Denver, the choice is yours. You can sit pretty and settle with Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock, or you can go get the MVP, the current MVP of the league, who is still looking like a top 2 quarterback in this league. You get him in the AFC West, you got to compete with Derek Carr. You got to compete with Justin Herbert, and you got to compete with Patrick Mahomes as well. So you have to get a quarterback. You get an Aaron Rodgers, that team goes from a wild card team, I'm talking about the Denver Broncos, to a Super Bowl team.
True.
It's that easy. And even for the Giants, if the Giants are seriously considering it, which they're not going to, they're going to stick with DJ, which is fine. I'm okay with it because I'm excited for what the future holds. But a team like Denver, who is in a very, very tough division, you need to make a splash. And if he's available, which it seems like he is, you got to pull the trigger and say, let's go for it. John Elway, what are you waiting for?
Trev, you know what? I read the report. I know you didn't. The Bill Barnwell thing, the 7 teams. You know what team intrigued me the most above all the 7?
Saints.
Was the Cleveland Browns. No, Saints weren't even in the thing.
I didn't look at it. I told you. You sent me it late last night. I got to look at it. I'm sorry.
It was the Giants, Denver, Oakland, the Browns, Tennessee, and I forget the other couple, but it doesn't really matter. Is the Browns. The Browns are in win mode now. The players that they have now surrounded is a win mode team now.
I just don't see them trading for. I don't see them trading.
They would trade Baker, which Denver will have for the next 2 seasons under the rookie deal. 3 first-round picks, and David Njoku. Boom.
If I'm any
now
of those,
Aaron Rodgers comes to one of the best offensive lines, like he had in Green Bay, comes to a weapon.
The Browns instantly become the best team in the NFL. Best team in the NFL, not the AFC, not the NFC. They are the best team in the NFL with Aaron Rodgers. There's no argument. There's no discussion about it.
If you want to change the whole narrative of the Browns organization, the 100,000 years of the Browns, right now you make the move. Now, it won't happen because that's not the move the Browns will make. They're going to stick with their solid quarterback. But I'm telling you, if you were in a desperate mode, like if I was the Bears, flip it, like if the Browns were in a Bears situation where you're trying to save your job, the GM, I'd make the move. I call right now, hurry up, Baker Mayfield, 3 first-round picks. That's not enough. What do we really need to give you again? You want our tight end, David Njoku, Austin Hooper? What do you want? I'd like to keep both of my running backs. I want to keep Odell Beckham and Landry, but if I gotta give you Beckham, then you're giving me like Van Scantlin or one of the receivers that Aaron Rodgers want, and you bring him to Cleveland. Yep. Now, Aaron Rodgers has a no trade clause, okay, which means the Packers have to sign off on it. Nothing's going to happen before June 1st, anyways.
Well, the 3 teams that are that he's been supposedly has his wish list, and I guess all these players now have wish lists as to where they want to go.
Why you didn't have a wish list?
Where I'd want to go? I mean, I want to go to the New York Giants.
Well, do I want to win or do I want to play for the New York
Giants? I'm going to win still. I'm still going to win. Big Blue, baby. No, anyway, I don't play for the Chiefs. The 3 teams are the New York Giants, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Denver Broncos. If you're those 3 teams, we've already heard Dave Gettleman. We've already heard Dave Gettleman not really bring it up and kind of just say they're going to go with Daniel. So I almost say the Giants are out of it. It comes down to the Raiders and it comes down to the Broncos. 2 teams in the same division. Which one wants it more? You have Aaron Rodgers possibly sitting there pretty saying, I'm done with Green Bay. Give me what you got. And if you're a team like Denver, who is on the cusp of a playoff type team, but you need that quarterback. You got the talent. Look at the offense. Look at the weapons that they have offensively. And yes, they would have to probably trade one of those weapons. It might be a Jared Jeudy if they had to include in that trade package. You're sitting there with Melvin Gordon. You have Cortland Sutton. You got Noah Fant. You have a solid offensive line and improved offensive line.
They drafted the running back out of North Carolina too, who was a beast.
Javonte Williams. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And then you got that defense. You get Von Miller back. You sign Justin Simmons. You resign Justin Simmons. You get Kyle Fuller. You add Patrick Surtain. And then look at that. That's a team right there that's saying,
hey, it worked for him last time when they signed Peyton Manning. And you're going to get Bradley back. Now, Aaron
Rodgers is coming off of an MVP season. Peyton Manning, yeah, they took a chance on Peyton, knowing that, well, maybe thinking, I don't know if he's going to pan out because of the neck, which it did. I mean, he won a Super Bowl. He got to a Super Bowl. He won an MVP. He had the greatest statistical season ever. So it worked out well for Denver. John Elway, you have the opportunity again, Elway. It's on you.
Hey, now here's the thing, though. But here's the thing. You would assume where his career is, he wants to win. So I don't think Oakland gives him the best opportunity to win. And I don't know if Denver does. Here's the other thing. Okay, I always it's a common thing, just like the Redskins.
I think it's old though.
You saw Denver wants a right tackle, right? He tore his Achilles. Yes.
Oh, so look at this: the Aaron Rodgers next team odds. So Denver is a -200, and then
Denver is the 7th team right now in Vegas to win the Super Bowl next year.
Currently,
yes.
Now, just imagine if they added Aaron Rodgers.
You know, Denver just lost their right tackle, Juwan James.
Yes.
Towards Achilles, might lose out on $10 million too, because he was working out outside of the facility, which that's really unfortunate. I don't look at the Las Vegas Raiders as I go there and I win. That's not a smart move for Green Bay.
I mean, that becomes a playoff team. I don't think that's a Super Bowl team.
But you got to look at though. John Gruden loves quarterbacks, loves the trade quarterbacks, listen. He's been looking for that Brett Favre that he had a long time ago in Green Bay. So.
Well, as expected, the report seems like the Denver Broncos are the most interested team. It's just when are they going to actually make this official? Because it looks like the days of Aaron Rodgers going or staying in the yellow and green are getting very, very numbered.
One of the other teams I meant to mention was also Miami.
I mean, that'll be it. I mean,
was Miami. It was a Tua thing, but it was a 3-way trade with Pittsburgh and Miami too.
Screw it. The Jets should just do it. Trade Zach Wilson and trade all your draft.
No. And he's not in here.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm only kidding.
He's got to get the best situation would have been San Fran, but they're not going to move off of Trey Lance and Jimmy G.
No, because then the Packers will be put in a tough situation of having two projects with Trey Lance and Jordan Love, two guys that are not ready to play. So Denver, it's on you. It comes down to if you really want this to happen. And if I were you, I would strongly consider it if you want to try to compete in the AFC West and compete in the AFC. With Aaron Rodgers, you can go from a playoff type team to a Super Bowl caliber team. It's that easy. Just make the call and make it official. Let's talk about one more. Let's close out with this. What big teams making big moves. A couple of years ago, the New York Yankees made a huge move and getting an MVP at the time, Giancarlo Stanton. And we all thinking, wow, the New York Yankees just got Giancarlo Stanton for nothing. MVP. You're going to team him up with Aaron Judge. It's kind of been a rocky road for Giancarlo Stanton. But he's been on a tear right now. And the New York Yankees as a team have been playing really well. Actually, the Astros, first time last night that they've given up 7 runs in the past 14 games. So the Yankees offense is starting to click. And I want to show you a little quick stat of this, of what Giancarlo Stanton has looked like and the New York Yankees have looked like. April 22nd. Hold on. Shut it. I'm going to show you the stat that I saw last night. And I want you to look at that. And this is how the Yankees started. They were 6-11. Everybody's like, oh, the New York Yankees, they're struggling. The run differential was terrible. The ERA was there. And then look at the most important thing. Giancarlo Stanton's batting average was at 158. Ever since then, the New York Yankees are on a tear, 9-3, plus 28 in the run differential. The team ERA and Stanton's batting average both lead in that specific category since April 22nd. So let me ask you. I know we always talk about Aaron Judge. We talk about Gary Sanchez with Joe. We talk about Gleyber Torres. But is Giancarlo Stanton the key for the Yanks to maybe get over the hump? We've been saying it. I think he's the most important player on the Yankees. Now, I know people might say he's not the best player on the Yankees because you can add LeMahieu, you can add Judge. But is he the most important player for the Yankees to be successful and to, as we all hope, Yankee fans, to win a World Series?
I mean, we've had this discussion before. You used to think it was Gleyber. You said Stanton. Joe said not Stanton, Judge.
I've always thought it was either LeMahieu or it was –
You said LeMahieu too. Sorry, it's funny because I'm just reading this article on 538 about the Yankees, and it says Yankees have a fundamental problem, and it's their fundamentals, and it breaks down situational hitting, running the bases, playing defense, and when they add up all the fundamentals, the Yankees are rated by 538 as the 29th best team in baseball in fundamentals. Only the Tigers are worse than them. And that's based on hitting, base running, fielding, and fundies. That's how they do the score. Listen, I don't think they play great fundamental baseball. I don't think they're a great defensive team, but they're hot right now. They won 4 straight. And we've seen this before with Stan, though. And I think this could be with anyone, especially him and Judge. But you see this with Stanton before, what he did for when he was with Miami. Remember when he had that 55 home run season and he was just it was 2017 or whatever. He had put Miami to almost the playoffs. He was on such a tear that
finished 59 home runs, I think, 58 or 59 home runs.
Yeah, something around there. And similar to Barry Bonds, too, man. One guy can really change the narrative of this team. And it's shown. He's on a 10 or 11 game hitting streak. He was 12. 4 for 5 last night. Home run. He only missed the triple, I believe, for the cycle. A double and 2 singles. He looks like he's on a great stride right now, and it's great to see. I don't think it's just him though. I think it's the team. I still think DJ sets the tone because when he gets on base. Now Stan has done really well in the 2-hole. I don't know if you saw the numbers. You probably didn't see it last night. He has the highest or the lowest rate of home run rate per at bats at when you bat second in the lineup. Judge was second and Trout was third. So when they bat second lineup, how many times at bats do they get before they hit a home run? I think it's anyone on this team. I don't think Stanton's the one guy. But if I had to break it down, for me, it would be DJ, Judge, and then Stanton.
Mhm.
But you can see what these guys are capable of when they are on fire. How they could take over a game. And I mean, last night, boom, you hit the home run, you jump on ahead. I mean, that's what these guys can do, and they can take over a game similar to a basketball guy. When they're hot, they're hot. I just don't know if he's the one guy I could just say, hey, if he's hot, he can carry this team. I think it's a cumulative thing with this team, and I still think what you said before, and you said it last year. I still think DJ having him set the tone at the top of the lineup, being on base, because think about it. You look at this team. Hicks and Frazier right now are god-awful, and there's no one else to replace them. They are automatic outs every single time at bat. They are awful. My coworker, who's a huge Yankee fan, says every time you watch Hicks, he's 0-2.
Let me ask you, are you going to boo Aaron Hicks tomorrow?
Probably. I will probably boo him tomorrow. Don't worry. I'm thinking about
for anybody why I'm saying that, Ted will be going to lucky. Ted is very lucky. Him and a couple of the boys are going to see the New York Yankees take on those Houston.
We are sitting front row on the right field, right in the judge chambers now. I wish Springer or Brantley or somewhere else was there. But don't worry, Altuve is going to hear me. He is going to hear me. I'm going to make a sign.
Don't worry. The crowd was alive last night. The crowd was amped up.
That was the loudest I've heard since a playoff game.
If that was a full stadium, my goodness, that could have been something else. But it was great to see. The atmosphere was ready. We've been waiting to see the Houston Cheatros. I like to call them. I don't want to call them the Stros.
What sign should I make? I was going to say keys to the Cheatros.
Keys to the Cheatros? No, we're not Cheatros. No.
Yeah, but keys to the Cheatros.
With a trash can. Keys to the trash.
No, bro. I was trying to get our name on the. I was trying to get keys to the city.
You take the keys to the city if you want. Wear your keys to the city shirt. Wear a keys to the city hoodie.
It's gonna be nice out tomorrow. It's gonna be beautiful.
Oh, 65,
sunny, no clouds.
Is it a night game?
No, it's a 1:00 game, bro.
Wow.
That's catching the train early, 8:44, taking out of West Haven.
You're going to New York. You're going to New York. I'll be going to the beach tomorrow. That's what I'll be doing.
We got me, Frankie, Paulie Standish. We got my boy Tommy Murray. We got Marty Kissel.
Wow, what a crowd!
Yeah, it was supposed to be Chaz too, but he's staying in Florida. So
he's staying in the great state of Florida. He's staying in the great state of Florida. But yeah, Giancarlo Stanton has been on a tear. The Yankees are heating up right now. They are currently 9-3 in the past 12 games. You saw the stats.
Hey,
they're starting to get the things, and they're starting to get. Hold on, you're starting to see energy. You're starting to see a lot of enthusiasm and energy. Maybe it's because the Astros are in town. I don't know, but I know
they're winning.
And they're winning. But yeah, I know. But it feels different because it's like when they played Detroit, yeah, they beat up on Detroit as expected. Detroit's a very bad team right now. They're in rebuild mode. But then you see a team like the Astros. They've been waiting since 2019. The last time we saw the Astros come to Yankee Stadium, or the last time we got to play the Houston Astros in a meaningful game, you know what happened. And I still see it to this day, and it breaks my heart seeing that Altuve home run.
Hey.
And then seeing that little guy just like this, holding his shirt like this, like, I can't wear my shirt off. Yeah.
Hey, you know who's pitching tomorrow? Garrett Cole tomorrow versus Lance.
Yeah.
Cole versus McCullers tomorrow. Tonight is Montgomery's pitching tonight, so I'm excited. You got to think about that too. Cole's gonna be facing his former team too for the first time. So
wait. It's going to be a lot. It's a lot of fun. We're going to be back Friday. We'll be having the Joseph Aguirre.
I might be live at the stadium.
You might be like, go live from Keys of the City at the stadium. I just
got to make sure I might have to.
Yeah, be careful with the.
You could hear everything last night. Now here's the thing: there's only 5 Astros from that original team that cheated.
That's crazy.
So, but Altuve.
Who do you think got the loudest boo?
Altuve. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close.
I heard Bregman got a very. I think Bregman got a boo.
No, Altuve. Trev, they were saying.
But I'm not gonna lie. When Bregman
they were saying the F word, Altuve.
Oh yeah.
You can hear it loud and clear.
I'm not gonna lie. Seeing Bregman hit that home run in the first inning and hitting a bomb, like, oh God, that's like the worst thing to see. Is out of all the players, him, and then you get to see Correa. But the Yankees are playing well. Let's see what happens with Odor. Hopefully, it's not too long. He's been a nice addition since getting released DFA'd by the Rangers. He's been nice. He's been a nice pickup for the Yanks. Let's see if he can stay healthy, and hopefully, it's not a bad injury. But Ted, you get to go to Yankee Stadium, and for the first time since the pandemic. So it looks like it's going to be a hell of a time.
Oh, it's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be a wild crowd.
Ted's got off, and it's the only nice day he's got. Ted's got off. How is it today? Is it bad weather?
50 and rainy. Cloudy, rainy, drizzle. My grass is green, though. The grass is green, bro. It's nice.
Wake up and smell the coffee, baby. What time's the train?
8:44 out of West Haven.
Wow.
Meeting up here at 8 o'clock in the morning. Got the breakfast sandwiches, a couple nips. We'll be ready to go.
Tommy's bringing in the breakfast sandwiches.
Pork chop's going to pick up the sandwiches.
Nice. Well, I hope you guys all have a great time, and I hope everybody has a great day today. Everybody be safe and drink responsibly, please, because today is going to be it is Cinco de Mayo, also known as Cinco de Drinko. So everybody, we'll be back Friday. Ted may be going live at Yankee Stadium. I hope he does. It'd be great. And Ted, if you wear something or you put a sign.
See, I don't know. Should I wear my Jeter jersey or should I wear my Keys to the City shirt? I want to make a sign though. I might have to get a poster.
I think you should wear the hood. I think you should wear the. So we don't have like long sleeve. You don't have like a sweatshirt.
No, it's gonna be nice. I want to get a nice.
No, that's what I'm saying. I would wear a sweatshirt or wear a T-shirt and the Jeter jersey. Pull up.
I'll wear the Keys to the City shirt underneath the Jeter jersey.
Old Kent Clark.
Yeah.
Superman.
That'd be awesome.
Well, we will be back Friday. We will be discussing because the playoffs of the NBA will be happening very soon. So we got to get on the NBA track. We got to talk about the Lakers. We got to talk about the Suns. Chris Paul. I mean, they were talking about earlier. Is Chris Paul really deserving the MVP? I don't know. I mean, it's pretty much deserving. But we'll talk about all of that on Friday. We'll have DJ Aguirre join us again, talk more Yankees baseball, and see how they finish off with this Astros series. And then we'll see if Aaron Rodgers is traded as well. So we got a lot to talk about. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day and be safe, as always. We are streaming on all social media platforms at Keys to the City, so subscribe, comment, share, and like. Clovercrest Media presents Keys to the City. We are out.
Yeah. Keys to the city, baby. When you see it, so you know you really viewing greatness in the making. Double up on facts we stating. Podcasting, cruise control, city, state, the nation. So what you saying, what we saying, prime information. Facts, keys to the city, we unlocking the statements.
Streaming every Friday.